Hello. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jihei Watson, and I'm coming to you live from the Showit studio. Although, if you're rewatching this, then it's not live again, but right now it is. And so, we are so excited that you've joined us today to learn how to launch your Showit site in one day. Now, here's the thing, the chances that you're going to launch it today, it could happen if you're like super dedicated. But I think if you watch this and you are ready, you could probably launch your site tomorrow. So, this is for you if you have been sitting with a template and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't even know how to customize this thing, or you don't even have a website at all because you feel super overwhelmed by it. We are here to give you the tips and tricks you need to feel confident to do this thing. So jump into the chat. We love the chat. We will be checking it out throughout the webinar. There will be a live Q&A at the very end. So if you have any questions, throw them in there and I'll jot them down and I will ask our amazing guest. His name is Jeff Willems. He is on the Showit team. And so he started off as a support pro, which obviously helps him to know the entire product really well. And now he's on the marketing team as well as customer success. So he is here because he is dedicated for you to succeed in getting an awesome website that you love. And so in the chat, tell us where you're from. Also, the random question of the day is tell us a perk of your job. So maybe you work a 9 to 5 and your creative side hustle is a side hustle. Just give us one of your favorite perks of working for whatever job you have. I work here at Showit. One of my favorite perks is that we get like free swag and like shirts and stuff. So this shirt is super random, right? Like there's a guy, he's reaching for something. The guy on my shirt is Jeff Willems. And a lot of people don't want to wear this shirt at Showit because they're like, oh, I don't want to explain to people why I'm wearing this shirt and what it's even about. If you are wondering what is up with my shirt, I have a little video for you.
This up.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah, you can't mess this up.
Got it! I got it!
That is amazing. He did.
Got it.
So this was from, I think we were preparing for United, which is an awesome conference that Showit puts on every November. We will be doing that again this year. So if you want some info about United, we will post some info under this video. But Jeff was foolishly standing on a Rubbermaid box that didn't have enough stuff in it to carry his weight. But someone captured this incredible picture and we put it on a t-shirt. So that's the best. More about Jeff. He is just our resident hippie. He loves like salt rocks and lamps or whatever. He's keto, of course. His hair is much longer than that video because he's a legit hippie, but he's a techie hippie. He also has been a model at some point. Look at that. Is that not the cutest thing ever? That's his actual bohemian goddess wife, Natalie. And those aren't his llamas or alpacas. I don't know what those are. If you know what those animals are, you can put that in the chat too. But that was a style shoot also from United by our good friend Raylene. She put that together, which was awesome. So again, you guys want to come to United if you've never heard about it before. But enough crazy talk, introing. I hope you guys are feeling pumped for this webinar. I obviously am. And so I'm going to pass it off to Jeff, and he is going to teach you everything you need to know to be able to launch a site in one day. Take it away, Jeff.
Wow, well, thank you, Jihei. That was quite an intro, and I hope I can live up to it here today, but we're going to do our best. So thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm pleased to be with you today. We are going to look at how to build and launch a Showit site in one day. So first, let's do a couple of disclaimers here. The first thing is you're not better or worse if you launch in one day, 1 week, 1 month. We needed a catchy title for the webinar, and that's what we landed on. However, this is going to provide you a roadmap to get from start to finish because building a website can be overwhelming and you can get lost in all of the creative freedoms that you have inside of Showit. So the reason that I feel qualified to teach you this webinar is not because I can catch cameras like a pro, not because I've been a support pro for Showit, not because I've spoken to thousands of customers who've built their website, but because I am the self-proclaimed king of half-finished projects. If you looked inside my Showit account, you would see a graveyard of half-finished websites that never got finished. And the reason is because I'm the kind of guy who gets furniture from IKEA and says, who needs these instructions, builds the whole shelf, and then realizes that I put inevitably a couple of pieces on backwards and I have to tear the whole thing apart and rebuild it. That is also how I've built websites in the past. And so this time we put together a little bit of a roadmap to get you from zero to launch, and it's going to help you get there. Whether you're building a site and Showit, whether you're just new to web design and you're not exactly sure where or how to start, but you want to bring your dream to life, this is for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump on over into the Showit app here. You'll see that come up on the screen, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this whole project. So here I am in Showit. We're going to choose a design to start with, and we're going to build it out from scratch. Now, I do want to let you know we are going to use a little bit of TV magic here. If you've watched the Food Network, you know that when they teach you how to prep and put the turkey in the oven, they've already got a finished one ready to go. That is the case here today. I don't want you to feel like I sold you down the river on anything. So we do have a finished product that we're going to recreate here, and we're going to launch this one. But the important thing is we're going to get our design from the base template to that finished product here today to show you that it really is possible. Now, the most important thing that you need to know about this is it all comes down to the pre-work. So first of all, you want to choose a template to start with, whether that's from our premium designs found in our store or that's from one of our free designs here in the app. I'm going to go ahead and choose this number 7 design here, and this is the one that we're going to work with today. So the first thing that you can do to really be successful inside of Showit is to inventory your design, which is what I've already done here. So I've already done all this pre-work, and we're going to dive into it, and I'm going to kind of talk through how we did this, what the steps were, so that you can kind of follow suit and be successful as well. And we have a really awesome PDF for you as well that we will send you at the end of this webinar. So it's going to help you do all this pre-work and get ready to jump into Showit and start creating. So once I've chosen my design that I feel fits my brand and I'm ready to go, which is this number 7, I want to jump in here to Showit, and I want to go to my site tab here in the left panel, and I want to start to look at the pages and understand what content is on these pages. So I see here I've got more pages and probably more galleries than I need. So I'm going to delete some of those, but first I'm going to start by customizing, content replacing, and then I'll delete out anything I don't need and make any final adjustments before I launch. So a good rule of thumb is to jump in here, start looking through, and you're going to take an inventory. So you're going to go through canvas by canvas. I'll click over to the page tab and start with my header canvas here. So I know that I need a couple of vertical images. I need a couple of landscape images. As I continue to go down an inventory here, I see this is a nice big canvas background, so I need something to go in there. I'll figure out what I want to do here. In this particular instance, we're not going to launch a site with a blog. One other important tidbit, if you do have a blog with us here at Showit, it will take a couple of days to get that all set up or migrated depending on what you're doing there. So it is somewhat impossible to launch in one day with a blog for that reason, but our team is going to help you get that all set up. So it's pretty neat that it's that hands off. So I'm kind of inventorying things here. I'm seeing what's on each page. I'm looking at the copy that's already in there, and I'm starting to think, what do I want to replace this with? What am I going to fill this with here? And so that's really what you want to do, is just walk through these different pages, see what already exists here in these canvases, and start to plan out what content you want to put where in your design. So we've already done that, and honestly, one of the best tools that you can use is just a simple Google Doc. So I'll give you a peek behind the curtain here. I just have all of the different pages listed out, and I have all of my changes here. I've got all my copy ready to go. So all of that has already been listed out. I've already done that work outside of Showit, and those are the things that are going to really speed up your process. So really kind of the core 4 when we're looking at customizing your site and building your design is going to be your brand fonts, your brand colors, your images that you've curated, and the copy that you need. So those are the things that we're looking to achieve before we jump into Showit. So if you already have fonts and colors, you're ready to go. If not, decide on those. Make sure that you have your images curated, ready to go, and that you have your copy written. Now, you can always iterate on things later, and we'll get to that at the end. If you want to work with a professional copywriter, or if you want to book a professional photo shoot for your brand, you can do that, but you can still get a site published with some simple free images. And also, you always have your phone, which takes a pretty good quality photos, so you can take a photo of yourself for the about page or whatever you need. You don't have to do some massive thing just to get something up and running and start appealing to your audience and booking clients. So that's what we're going to look at here today. I just wanted to give that little bit of a precursor that there is some pre-work that's going to happen outside of Showit. We're going to give you that PDF that's going to help you do all of that. And once you have that all together in an order, you can dive in and start carving things out. So that's what we're going to do now. So here I know that I want to turn my portfolio canvas into our, remember which one this is? Nope, not that one, sorry. So the mosaic gallery, I'm just going to turn into a page called gallery. And I'm going to go ahead and rename these. Oops, can't spell. I'm going to go ahead and rename these first so that I don't have any broken links. Because if something is linked out to a page and that page name changes, it will break that old link. So I'm going to go ahead and rename these to the pages that I know I want to use them for. This is going to be my services page. And then we know that we want those. And typically I would wait until the very end to delete anything just in case I do want to use it. But I already know for a fact that I'm not going to be using our carousel gallery. I'll get rid of that page. And I know for a fact that I won't be using our portfolio. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that page as well. So the first thing that you want to do when you jump in here is go ahead and get your design settings all set up. So this is where you're going to put in your brand fonts and colors and all of that great stuff. And the really great thing is these smart swatches here, when you change the colors out, it's going to auto update the colors throughout the entire design. Same with the fonts. So you can see a lot of customization happen just by dropping in your brand fonts and colors. So that's where I'm going to start here. I've already got my colors all picked out. Just need to find them in my doc. There they are. So we're going to start dropping colors in here, and you'll see that we have space for 8 colors. You typically want some black and white. So almost all of our text here is coming from color number 1, that black there. Our backgrounds are coming from color number 8, as you can see here. So that white there. And if you did want a different background color, you could change it across the site right here in this background option when you're dialing in your design settings. But we're going to use white for this example and keep on going. So now that I've defined all of my brand fonts and colors already, this is way easier because I'm not getting stuck over here trying to decide, is this the perfect color? Is this what I want? All I have to do is drop in here and just drop the codes right in. And I'm going to start to change this color palette to be my personal brand fonts and colors. So today we are going to be creating a site for a fictional company called Forge Talent. So this is a talent agency that helps creators, artists, all kinds of folks connect with their ideal clients and get their brand out there to the world. So that is who we're building for today. So they will be our example here. And I am going to go ahead and add my fonts in now. So again, I've already done this ahead of time. I went to Google Fonts. I found the fonts that I wanted for each of my different styles here. And now I can add them right in here. And we're going to go with Work Sans for our title with ultra bold. Now important, when you're adding fonts in, you'll see here that I've selected it and it's in the preview, but I have to click that Add Google Font button, and then it's going to add it to the bottom of my list, which indicates it has indeed been added. So we'll do that one first. And then we also have our semi-bold for our heading. That's the other thing that you want to note here is as you walk through this, if you want different styles of the same font, you have to add those styles individually. Adding a font isn't going to add all of the styles associated with that particular font. You'll have to add them one by one here. And then we'll go with Open Sans for our subheading and paragraph. So we'll have the semi-bold, and we'll also have the light option here. So now that I've added all these in, I'm just going to go ahead and actually get rid of the ones that came in the template because I don't need those and I don't want to clutter up my area there. So now I just need to set these type styles, and that again is going to update that content throughout the entire site. So here I'll update this to, sometimes if you add the fonts right in, you actually have to save this first so it loads them in there. We'll jump back into design settings. Now I can choose my ultra bold here, and then we'll do it on the mobile as well. So you'll notice that you can set these mobile and desktop independently here. Typically, most people want to set them the same in the type styles and the font styles here, but you can choose to do something different between mobile and desktop if you wanted to. That is totally up to you. You have total creative freedom to do that. And again, if you do have any questions along the way, feel free to ask them in the chat there, and we can address them at the end of the run through here once we get done with everything else. So our subheading is going to be our semi-bold here. And also, I know that I want my subheading to, most of the times that I use a subheading in the site, it's going to be an orange font with my brand colors. So I'm going to go ahead and set that right out of the gates here. And then that's going to save me the time of having to change that color every single time that I want something to be orange. So I've got that all dialed in now at this point. I've got everything ready to go. I've got my brand colors loaded in. I'm going to click save here, and you're going to see that things have already started to change. So our number 7 logo is now in our ultra bold font. We already see this option here in orange here as well. So we're starting to see some of this change happening. So now we're really going to start to customize. I've also curated my images and already loaded them into folders in my media library. So I have all of the content for my about page, for my home page, for miscellaneous, which is mostly my gallery content, my services page, and then just a general folder where I have any excess images that I'm using for this project. So you can organize your media library and get everything ready to go so that it goes a lot quicker for you, and you're not just looking through one massive upload area to find your images. So since I know what images I want, I'm going to just go ahead and double click it. It's going to bring these up for me. I'm going to grab my homepage folder here. I'm going to start to replace these images with the ones that I know I already want in these particular areas. And now we're starting to see this come together and change drastically here. So one other thing I want to note is you'll see here if I select a single image and go to my page tab, that we see that that is a graphic. That indicates it's a single image. I can also click the image tab. We see it's singular. If I click here, this is actually a gallery. We'll see that by this changing menu over here. Also on the left, it tells me that's a gallery. So here, you'll see we have a couple of images. I can click Manage Images or double click, but I'll click Manage here. And then I want to move about 3 images over there. They're just going to cycle through. So I've selected them all. I'm going to now move them over. And then I'm going to select by holding Shift and clicking these 2 that came in there and move those to the trash. So now I'll save that. And in this instance, I actually want to go ahead and line this up with the image above it there. So now we're starting to take shape. So from this point, we're going to start to change our copy a little bit. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go ahead and change this to our subheading style. And this is going to be about Forge here. And we'll do a couple little arrows just for fun there. So we're starting to customize this. We're starting to bring our own brand fonts and colors in, and already it's looking drastically different from what we started with. So I'll move this guy over a little bit. Now, the point of having our totally finished design that we're going to actually publish live is not because we can't get this done in the time of this webinar, but it's simply to save you the trouble of having to watch me do a million clicks and apply a bunch of click actions that link to different areas in your site. So I figured that would not be the most interesting thing. So we're going to go ahead and get the design all set up and then save some of that nitty gritty by just simply publishing the finished design already here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a rectangle shape. I'm going to turn it white here. And then I'm going to actually use this as kind of a cut in, just like how the mosaic one is here. So I'm going to set this on my image. And then over here in the left sidebar, I can grab this simple shape that is already highlighted here for me. And I want it to be under this About Forge text, which will then put that About Forge text on top. And so now we have this kind of cut in that's happening here. We're also going to go ahead and change this one up, and we're going to say, work with us here. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. We'll take it down to 20 there. Shrink this down just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to grab this simple that's back behind here, Command-C and Command-V to add a new one here. And then I'm going to use this for work with us. Going to do the exact same thing, move this down. Now we have this nice little cut-in happening on our image here, which gives it a little style. And we'll do the same thing here with this blog. We're going to change this to the process. And space this out how we see fit. I'm going to change my alignment to left instead of centered here. We'll pull this up just like this. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab that simple. I'm going to make a copy of it just like that. And I'm going to come in here and we are going to pull that out just like that. Pull it down below our text here. Oops, went a little bit too far there. Back it up. So I went under the image on that one, which is why it disappeared. I don't want to go under the gallery, so make sure it's above the gallery there. Then select our text, and we're going to turn that one orange as well. So you can see here that already it's really starting to take shape, and you're probably also noticing that on the mobile, we're in a bit of a mess here. That is because that when you add content to the desktop version, it'll also add to the mobile version, but you can customize things independently. So if I select a piece of text here, for instance, and look under text style, we have a desktop and a mobile tab. So you can set those independently. You can change that up how you see fit. We also have a really great option in here called special paste. So the way that special paste works is, for instance, I could grab one of these simple white shapes here. I'm going to hit Command C to copy, and then I'll select the item that I want to apply the same properties to on mobile. And I'll hit Command Shift V, and it's going to apply those same properties right there. So you'll see here that it's going to start to take shape nicely. We have these nice shortcuts that will help you get things rocking and rolling. And if you are working on mobile after adding a lot of content to the desktop side, there's a couple of options that will help you. You can either click this 3 dots options menu here and choose this layout mobile tool. And then in this case, it's going to give you the top 3 options: auto, stacked, and scaled. And they're going to try to basically recreate what you've done on desktop. You can see in this instance, it doesn't work great because this does not look great on mobile. So instead I could choose do not layout. And in that case, it's going to apply all of the styling to everything that I've added on the desktop side. You can see that we have all of our different orange fonts. Everything's been turned orange, all that good stuff, but it's not laying anything out. So I'm actually going to choose this option, which is going to turn our black font here orange. It's going to fix the process down below, make it orange, all that good stuff. So now I've done that. And you'll also see that in this instance, the process is the same huge size as the desktop. So I'll need to bring this down, maybe it's something like 60, maybe a little bit less. We'll try 45 here. And that's more like what I want. So when you copy that over, you might have to adjust some things, but it's still a huge leg up versus having to customize every single individual piece there. So now in this case, I'm going to go ahead and bring these pieces down here. Oopsies. And get things going exactly how they were before. So I'll bring this down below the process, make sure it's above the gallery here, and we'll start to customize all of this content. Here we go. Make this a little bit smaller. So you can see here that while I've had to make a few adjustments on mobile, I'm still saving a ton of time versus having to adjust every single thing that I'm working with here. So let's see, find this. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Drag that up just like so. Bada bing, bada boom. So things are coming together now. And let's see here. Space that out just a little bit more. So we're starting to see some customization come together. Things are looking a little bit better, and we're looking more like what we're aiming for here. So now let's add, go ahead and add our logo here. We're going to do all caps though. Forge, and then we're going to use some brand colors in this too. So I'll go ahead and change this from black to our brand dark blue here. And then I'm just gonna, I want the same text, same size, so I'm gonna Control C and Control V to copy and paste that. And then this will be talent here. We're gonna change that color to a lighter blue. And we're gonna bring that in right about here. And we're gonna grab that crafting brands bit here. And we're gonna change this up as well. So we're gonna use a bit of a tagline here called, that says forming artists and find, oops, let's do an ampersand there. Oh man, there we go. Super fans. Okay, so fans, that's not what I want. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and change this to uppercase right there. And then I can also change this to our same lighter blue, which I'm going to go ahead and use here. stretch that out because I want it to be one line and bring the font down just a little bit so that it's a little smaller. And we'll do something like that right there. So now my home page is already starting to look drastically different, as you can see here. Again, normally I would link up all of this to the right places, the about page, all of that stuff. We're going to save that for the finished product so that we don't have to watch Jeff set 1,000 click actions, because it's not that interesting, to be honest with you. But it is necessary, and click actions are how you get anywhere in your site, or externally you can link out to different URLs and things of that nature. So we have a great help doc on that if you need it. You can always check our help doc library down here in the bottom right corner for information on just about anything here in the site. So now I'm going to move on to our about canvas here. I'm going to change my background. I want a picture of one of the artists that this company works with, Forge here. So I've got this one, and then I'm going to take this meet the team here, and we're going to turn this into our title text, but we still want it to be a brand color here. And we're just going to stretch it out so that it's one line. And we'll get rid of, we'll bring this guy over here. We'll get rid of Joe here. We don't need that one. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here. And then I'm going to grab my little icon that was down here as well. And so again, at this point, I'm just repurposing the content that's in my design already. I'm not adding a ton of content. I'm not deleting a ton of content, because I might get to a place where I decide, oh, actually, I wanted that thing in there. Man, I really need that. So I'm not deleting a whole lot. I save that for the end. That I find is the best option. So I'm going to use our subheading here. And again, I've set that to orange, but I can change that independently for any instance within the site. So let me type this out real quick here. Super fans. That's a new term, guys. So make sure that you use that. Super fans with a T. You know, they're super fan, but with a T. So now we're starting to shape up here. You know, things are coming together. It's looking a lot more customized. And again, over here, the mobile site is going to be semi-independent. And we can use the layout mobile tool here. It's probably going to work pretty well for us in this case. So let's see what stacked, scaled. Okay. We're going to go with do not layout again, I think, in this particular case. Yeah, we'll go with do not layout. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. So now we have everything looking how we want. We just need to size it and place it accordingly here. So now I can pull this up. Whoopsies. Now I can pull this up, get discovered by your super fans, and we can turn this into a single line. We'll have to take it down, make it a little bit smaller here. Turn this into a single line, shore up that text box. We're going to go ahead and rotate it. And you can use the shift key, which will rotate it in these increments. And we'll place that there just like we did before. And we'll do a meet the team type of thing like this. Maybe we'll do a left align, bump that up a little bit bigger. So we'll do something like this here. Bump that up in size. Here we go. Okay. Now you'll see here that on mobile, my background is not exactly where I want it. The guy's totally off to the side of the screen. So what I can do here is come to the Canvas Background tab, and this position option is set to top right. I'm going to set it to middle center instead. So now it's looking better. We can see my artist there. Things are looking a whole lot better. So here we are. We're running through things, and already we're customizing things and getting it going. So my last canvas here on my home page is this blog canvas, but again, I'm not going to have a blog in this instance. So instead, I'm going to turn this into, I'm going to repurpose this and make this a little bit of a preview for my process, my services canvas here. So I'm going to change this to say process. Again, I can type it out. I don't need the caps lock or anything because I can always come over to letter case and change that if I want to there. We'll space that out where we want. Now you'll see that these letters are whiting out. That's because they're behind this shape here. So all I have to do is bring process up, and now it's sitting in front of that content there. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to our blue color here, our blue color here, and then we'll take process. We'll change this to orange, and then we're going to put our copy in right here. And we're going to change the color to black on this one. And then let me grab my text for this piece. And since I've already written all of my copy in a doc, all I have to do is grab it and paste it right in just like that. So then I can adjust it to my liking here. There we go. That's more what I'm looking for. We'll leave read more as orange here for now. And then again, this is going to be a single image right here. But in this case, I actually want to use a gallery here. So what I'm going to do is just, not my media library, sorry. I'm going to hover over this middle bottom icon. I'm going to choose the gallery option. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the image that exists here to size up my gallery so that it's the exact same size, because I do like the layout here. Now that I've got that, I can go ahead and figure out which one is the image, boom, graphic. You can see that it's the blue outline is just over my gallery there. So that is the image behind that I want to get rid of. I can select it and simply hit delete. Now that's gone, and I can fill my gallery with my images. I also want the process to be above that, so I'm going to drag my gallery down below here. So now I'm going to go ahead and head over to gallery images, and we are going to grab, let's see, this one, I believe this one, and this one. We're going to add those over, and we're going to click save. Now I'm also going to come down to transitions here, or rather gallery settings, sorry, and we want auto advance to be set. I'm going to leave it at 3 seconds, and that is going to advance those images through this gallery while the viewers of my site jump on and start to look at things. Next, down here in my footer, I want to add a few different pieces of content that are more specific to my brand here. Again, guys, the only reason that this is going so quickly is because I've done things already outside of Showit. We've taken the steps to make sure that we have our copy, that we know what images we want to use, and that we have a game plan for our site. Because if you jump in here, like I said before, I've done it a million times. I'll jump in and allot 3 hours to work on a site, and then I'll find myself doing different font pairings for 3 hours and realize that I just did nothing, made no progress, because I wasn't ready to really dive in. So now that I have a plan and I'm ready to go, things are going to move a lot quicker. So again, I'm coming in here, I'm changing out these colors on our social links. One other pro tip, on a click action for your social link, it would link out to the URL to that social page. Make sure that you get the full web formatting with the http://, otherwise it won't link properly. So a good rule of thumb is just to simply use the open it in another browser tab and then go ahead and link, just pull that right out and link to it from there. So let me get my mobile all shored up here just a little bit, pull this down a little bit more. Okay. So now again, it's starting to really look like something. We went from, just a basic template that was run of the mill that anyone might be using, and now it's really starting to look more like a customized piece of content here. And I've really done nothing but simply replace what was already in the design and make some small changes here. So now that we've got that done, we can jump over to our about page. And again, here I've already inventoried things, so I know exactly what I want to do with this page. So I'm going to be able to get through things a lot quicker. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to swap out the image that I know that I want, go to my about folder, pull that image in. See, this is a gallery, but I actually don't want it to be a gallery, so I could either switch it out with a single image, or I could simply just get rid of the other gallery images and only put one image in it, which is what we'll do for the sake of time here. And again, I'm just going to repurpose some of these items that are already here. So we'll go ahead and change this to our blue brand color here, and we're going to increase this size just a little bit so it feels like more of a statement here. And we're going to go all caps on this one as well. And we're going to do our heading here. Whoopsies, our title here rather. Look at that, it's all jumping around. Here we go. Fixed it up, there we go. Okay, so in this case, I want to lengthen this text box, and then I actually want Forge Talent to be on the second line. So I'll hit enter there. We're going to do a left align, and then we can put it on here just like this. But I do want it to be my darker blue color. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, so now I can do something else. This page feels a little bit bland to me. I want it to feel a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to do something really easy here. I'm just going to add um, a, a s- a rectangle here. I'm going to turn it a little bit sideways. I'm going to throw a color on it, and then I'm going to stretch it out across the entire staging area, just like this. So once I've got it stretched out and it's past the edges here, what I'm going to do is actually come to the size and position tab. I'm going to throw this long horizontal lock on it, which will ensure that it stretches all the way across the canvas area, no matter the screen size that it's being viewed on. So make sure that you stretch it out a good bit past the edges so that it's got plenty of wiggle room there. And we want to pull this down below all of our content, really. So I'll put it all the way down on the bottom there. And then again, we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste some of what we already have here in our doc and get this really moving and grooving here. So I know we're moving fast on this one, guys. And again, if you do have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments and we can circle back to those at the end of our presentation here today. And we'll throw this in here, our copy. I'm also curious in the comments, what have you found is the hardest part of building a website? Where do you get stuck? Is it on the copy? Is it figuring out colors? Do you get stuck in all of your options to play around with different features? What do you find is the most challenging part of building a website project? Let me know down in the comments. And then we'll just do projects just like this. Bada bing. Okay, so now again, we're starting to come together. Things are starting to look more customized and we're making some headway here. So next, I see this. Oh, let me lay out my mobile real quick here. Layout mobile. Let's try scaled. Don't love scaled. Don't love stacked. So we're going to go ahead and choose do not layout in this particular case. Choose that, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these up here because I don't want them on this page. Just delete them out real quick. And then the same here, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'll switch over to our mobile only view for just a minute, and we want to run this all the way across here. And that size and position lock is already applied, or it isn't relevant on mobile, and I just made that up. So we're all good to go there. We've got that, and then let's see here. We've got, I'm going to thicken this up on mobile just a little bit. That's more like it. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and darken this text on mobile, just like that. So now we're shaping up here. And for my style section here, I already know since this is my about page that I want to actually turn this into basically a meet the team type of thing. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and change this to meet and team, and then I'll show you exactly how we can repurpose this content to have a really nice, interesting about section here. So I copied and pasted, changed this to team. I'm going to go ahead and get this all laid out here, just like that. So now here's what I want to do. I'm going to add some canvas views so that we can flip through our different teammates here. So basically, I'm going to turn this picture into a picture of our CEO of the company, Alan Swish here. And I'm going to grab his bio right out of my doc, paste it right in here, just like that. And then we can adjust sizes and styles and whatever we need to do there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a subheading here. And we're going to type his name in here. And then we're going to change this text style to be our dark blue. So we'll do that just like this. Now, if I want to line up this line here and my text, I can hold Shift or Command and click both of them. You'll see that our right panel is going to turn into an alignment menu. So here I can align them to group and make sure that they are centered on one another, just like that. You'll notice this is maybe a little high. That's because we have a little headroom in our text box, so I can actually take the line height down just a little bit and then recenter them, and we should be looking a little bit more on now. There we go. So we've got that there, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this section and just list some quick facts about our folks here. So just like that, things are starting to really come together at this point. So now that I have this laid out, essentially as kind of a template, I'm going to use this and duplicate and continue to create teammates. So Alan's our CEO. We'll leave his title right here at the end of his name. And just like that, we've got the first of our template here. So now all we have to do is go ahead and click on the 3 dots options menu for this canvas. We're going to choose the Add Canvas View option. If you're not familiar with Canvas views, check them out in our help documents. They're really, really cool, and you're going to love them. And then I'm going to basically select everything except meet this line and team, and we're going to drop it in. And I'll tell you exactly why we're going to do that, or leave these ones out in just 1 second here after we get these dropped in. There's R. Okay, great. So those will leave out, and the rest of them are all going to drop into folder 1. So, I lost our line, so I can come back into folder 1 here, select it, and then pull it out of the folder. So basically the way the Canvas views work is each view is kind of like a slide if you had a slideshow. So anything that you leave outside of the Canvas views is going to be visible on all Canvas views because it lives on the parent canvas. Anything inside a Canvas view will only be visible when that view is visible. So now I have this template. All I have to do is duplicate this view. Boom, I have view 2 right here. I'm going to double click. I'm going to swap this out for our next team member here. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and grab her information right out of my doc. So here is her bio. I'll just copy and paste it right in. And you do want to make sure that you aren't pasting in any like style settings from your copy doc. You can always use Control Shift V, which is the same as our special paste, but that will paste in blankly as when it comes to text into Showit versus text across Showit. So that will paste it in plain text there. So this is not Natalie, Natalia. There we go. So this is Natalia, and she is our creative director. Just like that, we'll lengthen this text box so it's all one line here. And I'm going to grab her quick facts down here, just like this, and we'll swap these out. Boom, just like that. So now at this point, I've got view 1, I've got view 2, and I can continue to create at this point and make more. I can also add just some simple little text here, and this is going to be our navigation. So I can come in here and do previous. Now this is important. To apply the click actions, I would need previous and next to be in 2 different text boxes because they're going to have 2 different click actions. So again, I'm going to get my first one situated. I'm going to copy and paste it over, and then this one will be next here. And shrink this down just a bit and make sure they're aligned by using our alignment tool. There we go. So next, I'm going to set a click action of canvas, this canvas, and I'm going to use next and previous, which will cycle through our canvas views. This canvas and previous on this one. Now, one other important factor in this particular case, I want to uncheck this scroll to canvas option because this is going to actually make the canvas kind of jump and scroll. And since this is on the same canvas, we don't want that scrolling effect. So I like to uncheck that in this particular instance. And then I know on this one here, I'm planning to turn this into basically a client testimonial, a quote area. And I would do the exact same thing. I'm just going to change out my canvas background images. I'm going to add different canvas views, and I'm going to put all of that together to have those different views so that you can rotate through those. For the sake of time, we're going to continue to move on. My gallery page, this is just a tile gallery. I'm going to click in here. I'm going to replace these images with my own really simply. So I'll select all of these, and I'm going to trash those bad boys, even though they were beautiful photos. And then I'm going to come over here to my miscellaneous folder. And I'm going to go ahead and select the first one and then hold shift and select the last one. And it's going to select everything in between as you see there. And I'll move those over to my gallery and click save. So here now I've got my gallery all set up and ready to go. In my gallery settings, I can enable a border, I can change the background color, I can change the column number, the padding amount. So you can customize things really heavily there, however you want them to appear. We also have different gallery types. Once you have your gallery set, you can go to gallery settings and you can change to a sliding gallery if you prefer, or what have you. But we're going to leave this in a tiled gallery. There we go, it comes up. We're going to leave this in a tile gallery for the sake of this particular instance here. And then our services page, again, we're going to do something really interesting here. I don't want to take up too much time on this so that we can get to some questions. So I'm going to show you our finished product here at this point. We're going to get that launched. And I'm going to kind of show you what we did in the final product with all of this. So again, guys, the way that this is possible is by doing the pre-work, making sure that you have your brand fonts, your brand colors, you know what imagery you want, where in the site, and you know what copy that you need to jump in and replace. Once you've done all that, you can delete out anything you don't need. You can add anything that you do need, and that's going to give you such a leg up. The site that's published today is collecting more clients than the site that's published a month from now or 2 months from now. And so sometimes it's easy to get stuck on everything has to be perfect, but you can easily iterate and make changes in Showit. So let's show you now how we can actually just jump in and publish this. So again, I've chosen to not have a blog on my particular site, and I'm choosing the self-configuration. So I would just click up here and connect your domain, but I'm going to jump into my finished design here, my final webinar demo. So you'll see here again, we've made some changes. This is just a little bit cleaned up version. Things are a little bit neater, more lined up, things like that. Our services page here, we've turned this into just kind of the different services we have and we offer through this talent agency by just simply flipping our gallery and changing this from those share options that it was before to a nice little descriptor. And then these arrows here are set up with a click action that is changing our canvas views on this particular canvas and also changing our gallery images. So we have an image that corresponds with each canvas view that's going to talk about different things here. So now in order to get this launched, I would click connect my domain, and then next to custom domain, I would click edit. Typically, if I was new, it would take me through a dialog box. I would submit some information, and then our team is going to help you get everything ready to go. But I already had the account and I've already put my domain in. So all I have to do is select it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump into GoDaddy where my domain lives. So here, I'm going to select my domain. And then I'm going to go down to manage DNS. So the way that it works with Showit is that your domain will be hosted wherever you want. We don't host your domains, so you could keep it hosted with GoDaddy, Google Domains, Squarespace, if that's where you're coming from. Really, you can host it wherever you want. And all you have to do is change the 3 DNS settings, which will effectively point your domain to Showit servers to display your site. So that is what I'm doing here. If you don't have a blog, then it's the same IP address for everyone. If you do have a blog, then you'll put in your blog setup request, and our team will send you back different values that are unique to the blog IP that you have. So make sure that if you are self-configuring your DNS settings, if you have a blog, you'll get specific numerical values from our team via the chat when they let you know that your blog is ready. If you don't, you can actually set it up exactly how I'm doing it here. So just need a couple of A records. The CNAME WW record I already need is in there, so I don't have to worry about that. And these point to the same number in this case. So that is that. I'm all ready to go. So I can jump back over here to Showit, and I can actually click publish on this design. And we're going to go live with this design. So now if I go to my domain, forgewith.us, you can see this brand new site that we've just launched here. Now you will notice I'm getting this not secure message. If you get that after a launch, that is no problem. Just chat the Showit support team in the bottom right corner of the Showit app, and we can get an SSL security certificate applied for you to fix that up. So here we go. This is it. This is the finished design. So let me also pull up just an example of our number 7 here. So this is a classic number 7. We'll go ahead and do a preview link on this so we can see some of the differences here. So you'll see that we've really customized things. We've given it our own feel. It feels vastly different than what we started with here. Our colors, our fonts have really changed things up. You can see that we've got things laid out really clearly. Navigation is really easy. Let's jump over and check out our About page. So again, here we go. We got that nice color block back here that's spanning the entirety of our site. We've got Meet the Team here. So again, you know Alan, you met him, you love him. He's a good dude. Here he is. And then we've got Natalia here. We've got Vera, who is our marketing and analytics pro. And we've got Will, who's our tech guy here. So, you know, this is a really great piece that we just took in the original template and changed and made more interactive, more interesting, with very little time and effort, just by creating a template of that first view and then moving it over. I did the same with our quote here. You'll see this is auto advancing. You can also use these controls, which stops the auto advancing. So we have some different testimonials. We have Sam V, who's a YouTuber that we work with here. We have Millie, who's a songwriter that Forge Talent is working with. We've got some artists, we've got some photographers. So we've got some kind words from them and the experience that they've had with us. And then let's jump over. Here's our services page. And like I said before, we've got these arrows controlling two things. So as I click through here, you're going to see this image change based on what it is that we're highlighting. And then you're going to see this content change below as well. So you'll see here we have brand strategy, we have network partners, and we have our creative space. So again, this is a really great way to have a cohesive feel, to be able to display a lot of information without cluttering up your page by having just a ton of inline information listed out throughout the design. So this is our design that we have created and launched in one day. It is possible. I did actually speak to 2 users last week. One person launched in 3 hours. One person launched in 6 hours. I reached out to them and I asked them, hey, what was it that made you the most successful? They already had defined brand. They already had the images that they wanted. They already knew their colors, all of that stuff. So the work was done outside of Showit that they needed to do in order to jump in and really be successful. So if you want to build and launch a site quickly, whether that's a rebrand or maybe you're new and you just want to get your passion, your new business out there so that people can find you and start to discover you, that is going to be the big one. Sit down with this PDF that we're going to give you, do the work ahead of time, get your brand fonts and colors, and then go ahead and just start to replace the content in the design that you've chose. You know, you chose it for a reason. You feel it represents your brand. Just let it speak for you, put in your customizations, and you can always tweak it over time. So for example, I'm going to jump back into Showit here really quickly. And let's just say that I've been looking at my design for a while and I like it, but I really want to add maybe a color splash on this home page as well. So I can come in here, add my rectangle. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We'll turn it on a bit of an angle here. We'll stretch it out so that it's nice and past our staging area. And we'll stretch this all the way across here. And let's take that up just a little bit, just like that. Okay, we're going to add that same lock on it so that it goes the full distance here. We're going to turn this our brand blue. Oh, the lighter blue is what I wanted. And we're going to drag this down behind everything on the canvas. So now we've got this nice color splash here. And if I hit publish, just like this, it's going to go live. And now I'll jump back to our live site at our domain. And if I refresh, whoopsies, that color block is there. So as you'll see, I definitely did this the wrong way, and it needs to actually be the other way. Boom. So there we go. We fixed that. We'll publish again. And now we'll jump back here, and there it's properly fixed. So it is that easy to just be able to publish changes, make small updates, whatever it is that you want to do. So some people really get stuck in thinking that, you know, everything has to be perfect, every T crossed, every I dotted. That's not the case. You know, make sure that everything works. You can use a preview link like this one here. when you preview your design, which we were doing, you can send that out to friends and family, and you can make sure that everything is working. You just copy that preview link right out of the browser. You can send it over to them. You can have them click through everything, make sure everything is working for you. And as long as nothing is broken, as long as the site makes sense and it can be navigated, there's no reason not to publish it, particularly if you don't have a site up already. If you have a site up that you're happy with and you're building something new, take your time. But if you don't have a site up and this is something you're excited to get out there and show people, just put it out there. You can fix things, you can make adjustments along the way, you can publish changes instantly. So there's no reason not to dive in and just get going on it. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. I know we ran through things pretty quickly here, but I wanted to show you a little bit of the roadmap from start to finish of how to be successful in getting your site up quickly, demo a few of the tools inside of Showit, show you the process of just content replacement, changing some things up, how simple and easy that can be. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and I'd love to dive into some questions. If we have them, hit me with them.
Oh, Jeff, there are many questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, first of all, you guys in the chat, you guys are the best. I love it. I love all the questions, all of the interaction that was happening. And so if Jeff, for some reason, doesn't get to your question, the folks at help@showit.co are support pros, or if you're in the builder, you can definitely hit the little chat box. They will get to you. That's their job. They are happy to help you. And I know some people are like, oh man, I always get like a help doc. Like they're not answering my questions. Like a real person is answering your question. They just think maybe the help doc will help you first. But if you say, hey, I've already read that, then they'll say, oh, well, let me give you the attention you need. So sometimes they just need a little extra, but they are there for you. But so is Jeff today. So let's do this thing. Jeff, a lot of people have asked hiding elements, hiding pages, hiding like sections, like how is that possible? Because they just want to launch their site with like 3 or 4 pages that they're, that they already have ready to go. Can you show us how to do that, to do the hiding?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's jump back to the screen and I'll show you exactly how to do that. I meant to talk about this along the way, so I appreciate you guys asking that for me. So let's start at the content level. So if I wanted to hide this piece of content here, I select it, and then over on our left sidebar, I see it selected. There's 2 icons right next to it. One's desktop, one's mobile. These are toggle switches. So if I click just the desktop, you'll see that Forge disappears from our desktop design and stays on our mobile design. I can uncheck both of them and that piece of content will be hidden. Now, I will say that it's a good practice that if you can hide content along the way, but if you know that you aren't going to use it, go ahead and delete it out. That's going to help with your page load speeds. If you have a bunch of invisible content hanging around, it's going to just slow things down. So this is good while you're building, but make sure that you do delete them out when you know that you don't need them. Now let's look at hiding an entire canvas. So if I want to hide my header canvas, I'm going to click the 3 dots options menu here. And again, we have two boxes. We have visible on desktop and mobile. So if I wanted to hide this header just from mobile, I could do that, and it tells me that is happening by this little desktop only icon, or I could hide it from both, and then I get this eye with the line through it, which shows me it's invisible. Again, feel free to hide as many canvases as you want during the building process, but if you know you don't want that canvas on the final site, go ahead and delete it out entirely when you publish the site. So also, it's super simple, guys, to add content back in from your original design. So for example, here, let's say I jumped in here and delete my contact page for whatever silly reason, that I decided to delete my contact page and I want to add it back in. I can do that super simply oh, you know what? I'm not going to delete that though, because this is the final product. I totally forgot. Oh man, guys, I messed it up. Now I'm going to have to restore it. Okay, so anyway, so I've deleted the contact page by accident, of course. Or perhaps I deleted it because I thought I didn't need it. I can just come in here to pages, hit the plus, and then if I choose select new page, I can actually go to my library. It's going to have all of the designs in my account, and I can just choose the one that I'm working in. So we'll go to this one here, grab the contact just like that, and I can add it right back in there. So there we go. The day is saved. I don't have to restore it. I could just add it back in. The same with standard content from your design. So if you deleted something early on and then you decide, no, I wanted that gallery page or whatever it is, you can always add that back in later. But it's also a good rule of thumb not to delete until closer to the end. So that is how you would hide content. There isn't a true way to hide an entire page per se. You can go to our advanced settings here. You can check this box which asks Google to ignore this page. So if you're still building out a few pages, but you have most of them, you could launch the site and then ask Google to ignore any pages that aren't finished so that they hopefully won't be indexed by Google. Usually they'll honor that. Sometimes they don't because it's a little silly, but typically that will help you hide an entire page in that regard. So hopefully that is helpful. What other questions do we have?
We also have a lot of people have asked us how easy is it to migrate or switch to Showit from like Squarespace or WordPress or other platforms like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's going to depend on, to some degree, on what platform you're coming from. So if you're coming from WordPress and Squarespace and you have blog content to migrate, we can migrate that blog content for you. Some website builders, unfortunately, don't provide us that option. I think Wix is one of those where you can blog directly in Wix, but they don't provide us an export file, so we can't bring that content over. But if that happens, if you're on a platform that we can't migrate for you, then you can actually kind of self-migrate by pulling that content out of your blog and loading it into a Google Doc, having folders of the images that you used in those and pulling out your copy so that you can, again, simply copy and paste it over into WordPress once you're set up on Showit, and you can rebuild those blogs really quickly. If you're on Squarespace or WordPress, we can migrate that content so your copy, your images, your comments, all of that is going to come over in that migration, and it'll all be loaded up when your blog is ready, and our team lets you know that that's ready for you. As far as the actual site content, you will be rebuilding that in Showit, obviously. So again, a good practice would be that if you don't still have those files in different folders and ready to go for you, you can kind of organize on your exit from the other platforms. So if I'm leaving Squarespace, I would go through and just basically inventory my current site and know what I want where, put everything in folders, organize it, and then upload it into Showit and start creating there.
Love it. Okay, and this is a pretty specific question from Priscilla. She says, is there any way to build out a static version in Adobe XD and transfer to Showit to create live?
That's a great question, Priscilla. You can't transfer directly into Showit, unfortunately. That's a great option for kind of laying things out, getting that plan ahead of time. That's kind of the beefed up version of taking that inventory and knowing what you need. So if you are design savvy and you're familiar with the Adobe tools, you can always build out your framework in there and have a rough idea and then translate that to the page, but it can't be ported over. So it will take some rebuilding in the Showit platform.
Great job answering that. I was going to answer it in the chat, except I didn't know how to. So that's why I saved that for you, Jeff. Next question from Allison, which is a fantastic question. It is, what is the best way to choose a blog template that works for me? Basically, she said, I bought the tonic amaretto sour template, which all the tonic ones, so great. But she doesn't love the blog template that came with it. So like, I know I've asked you this question before, like, can you mix and match different elements from different designs?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do that. So one thing is that if you do that, you're going to lose some of the uniformity. So all of our designs in Showit are going to come with blog pages, whether or not you choose to have a blog. They're already going to be pre-designed to fit the same look and style as your template. And these pages are ready to go for you out of the gate. So you could essentially publish and go live, and those pages would function exactly as they need to. So you really don't have to do much except change aesthetics, change colors, change fonts, whatever you want. But all of the content is linked up with proper placeholders that communicate with WordPress. It can be confusing at times. So if you are new to blogging with Showit, check out the help doc, How Blogging Works with Showit. It'll give you a great explanation. There's some good videos that will show you how it links up with WordPress to bring you your blog. But let me jump over to the screen here and I'll show you what you can do if you do want to bring in some different blog pages or design elements. So here I am in our blog, and let's say I want to grab a different blog page. What I'm going to do is just simply go to my site tab in the left sidebar. I'm going to click this plus. I'm going to choose select new blog template. And then from here, it gives me my current site, my sites, which we used before, my library, which is any premium designs that I might have in my account. And then the Showit library tab will give you access to all of the free designs in Showit. So you can jump in here and let's just pick the Clarissa here, and I'll check out the blog page. And look through it. Let's say that this is what I like and I want to use this one here. I can do that really, really easily by selecting it. And then I can even come down here on the import options and choose apply my fonts and colors, which you'll see is going to skew things a little bit. The alignment isn't as perfect as it is in this example, but I don't have to make all of these individual changes. This is lengthening a text box and making minute changes compared to changing all of that content to be in the style of my design. So now I can click add and add that right in there. It's going to add as blog-1 because there's already a blog page. So I can now delete this blog page out if I wanted to do that. And then a good rule of thumb is just to simply rename this and drop the -1. So it's just blog, since we now only have the one blog page in there. So you could do that. Another option would be if I'm on the blog page, let's say, I could click the options menu at the page level here, and I could choose add new canvas. This is going to give you the exact same feature, except now you're going to choose a specific canvas. So let's choose a different design. We'll do maple here. I'm going to go to the blog page, and then I can scroll through and I see every single canvas on that page. Let's say that I really like this footer. I can grab that. Again, I'll apply my fonts and colors there. I'm going to add it right in. It's going to add that canvas to the bottom of my page stack, which is fine because it is a footer in this case. But if I wanted that higher on the page, I could click and drag to reorder it and drop it in wherever I wanted it to appear on the page. So you can add in other elements from other designs super, super simply in Showit. And if you have any questions on that, just go to our help docs here and type in add canvas or add page from another design, and you'll find walkthroughs with instructions and videos on how to do that. What else we got? Hit me with some more questions.
Other thing to add to that is that in our design market, which is store.showit.co, there's even an add-ons page. So like, let's say, you started out as a photographer and then now you're a podcaster too. We have like podcast templates, or if you want a pricing guide, there are just a bunch of different random, or maybe not random, but there are a lot of different elements that you can add if you just want to do an add-on onto your existing already incredible website. And again, like Jeff showed us, all you have to do is recustomize like the colors or the fonts and just make that work for you. So that is another great option. Okay, since we're already past an hour, I wanted to make sure that we talked about, one, the PDF that we talked about, which is basically just a checklist. Like if you love the satisfaction you can get from like checking off boxes to see that like you're making headway, we have a PDF for you, and it's in the blog post. We'll add it into the comments here, but also if you did sign up for this webinar, then you will get a follow-up email with the replay link, which is really here, but also a blog post that kind of talks about the things that Jeff talked about, as well as a link to the PDF. So definitely check that out. And Jeff, did you have a 10% off code for our friends who watched all the way to the end here to get 10% off of an annual subscription with Showit?
Yes, I do, and we're going to keep it simple, and that code is simply Jeff Webinar. It's going to be all one word, no spaces. Jeff Webinar will get you 10% off your first year. Just don't use it immediately because I forgot to set it up. So give me like 10 minutes and I'll get that set up.
He'll get it up real quick here. Guys, we are so amazed and thankful that you guys watched. I know a couple of you stated that you were super overwhelmed. I've worked here for like 5 years now, and Jeff has actually personally helped me with a ton of my launches. He knows what's going on. The support pros know what's going on. Don't feel like you're asking too many questions, because there's no such thing. We put on this webinar. Yes, it was fast. Yes, there was a lot. But there are so many more tools that we have for you to feel confident that you can launch your website. We want you to launch it sooner than later, because a lot of people buy a template and they're like, I'm going to do this thing. And then they just feel overwhelmed looking at our platform. And so, today Jeff walked through the whole thing because he wanted to show you, man, you can do this. This is what this button does. If you want to change the colors, like the colors one is the best. Like Jeff was saying in the beginning, sometimes he sits there for 3 hours doing different color combinations because it's fun. And then also that's something you can check off the PDF and say, man, I'm making some headway in my website. So we want you to be able to do that. Jeff, do you have any last words for us?
Last words are just, do the work ahead of time, jump in. That way you won't get super overwhelmed in the builder. You can replace the content in your template and get launched quickly. most of all, make sure that you join the Showit user group on Facebook. There is a ton of Showit pros in there. Our design partners hang out in there. People who have had Showit sites as long as Showit has been a thing are in there. They're happy to help you, and I love to hang out in the group too. So you can always feel free to tag me if you have a question or a concern or you need a resource. And I'm happy to point you toward those things as well. So let's connect there.
Absolutely. And we also have a free 14-day trial. So let's say you have a website with Wix or Squarespace and you're like, I am not paying for 2 websites at the same time if I'm not even using any of them properly. So you can do a free 14-day trial with Showit, no commitment, just go in there, play around, see what's on there. If you are a Jeff Fantz, right? See, I used your new word, F-A-N-T-S. If you're a big Jeff fan and you want to see more of him, if you go to showit.co/learn, he has a 30-minute walkthrough of Showit. And this one is a little bit more bite-sized. Like you can go to the section where he talks about, fonts and sections about like canvases and things like that. So again, I know it was fast. You might feel overwhelmed. Go take a walk your dog, get some fresh air, come back with some coffee, and then just kind of rewatch it slowly and just do what you can. Take the little bite-sized pieces that you know you can handle, and then you will start getting wins and you'll start moving down the line. But today was a roadmap. We really believe that if you put the work in and just be kind to yourself and patient, you will be able to build out your site and launch it. And worst comes to worst, if you're like, man, I would need a website and I cannot do this by myself, there are also designers out there who can just do the whole thing for you. You will still have to work with them and still have to provide info and such, but there's a lot of different options, friends. We want you to have a great website. So go out there, be creative, do your thing, and hit us up if you have any questions. Thanks for being here with us today, and join us again when we have another webinar.